These are 5 players that you need to start and 5 players that you need to sit in NFL Week 4 of fantasy football. And again, if you want access to my sports betting picks, click the link in my bio to get access to them. And before we get into the video, I just want to make a quick disclaimer. The starters are going to be players that you might be thinking about sitting or haven't gone off to such a good start this season that I think you should start. And then the players I think you should sit are going to be more players that I would say you'd be more likely to start on a normal week that I think you should consider sitting. Alrighty, the first player I got up is Kyler Murray versus the Seattle Seahawks, as this is again my first starter of the video. This is a great matchup, again, going against the Seattle Seahawks, who rank 20th versus the pass so far this year. And I think this is going to be a shootout type of game. Lots of passing back and forth between these two teams. And with the loss of James Conner, this is a great opportunity for Kyler Murray to get going this season. And yeah, overall, I think Kyler Murray is a definite start. And then the next player I got up is Justin Jefferson versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. And again, you might already be starting this guy. Obviously, most people would be, but I understand there's some people that, you know, with his bad start to the season, you might be a little weary about him. You might be considering sit him. I'm telling you, this is not the game to sit him. This is going to be a great matchup against the Steelers. There should be a lot of scoring in this game, lots of passing. The Steelers have struggled immensely against the pass so far this year. And yeah, this is finally got to be the game where Justin Jefferson gets going. And then my next player up back on this list, this kind of goes back to the Kyler Murray pick, is Sam Darnold versus the Arizona Cardinals. And again, I think this is a great matchup for him going against the Cardinals. They rank 30th against the pass this year, so they are terrible. They're also pretty solid against the run, which will help Sam Darnold again get more passing opportunities, as you know their run game is not going to be really able to get going. So yeah, overall Sam Darnold is a definite start. Alrighty, my next player up is going to be Ashton Jeanty versus the Chicago Bears. And again, he obviously has gotten off to a very disappointing start this year. But I do think this is a very good opportunity for him to get going again versus the Bears. They are terrible against the run. And it's just, this is going to be a very even game. Although Chicago looked great against, you know, the Cowboys, this should be a very close game. And I would expect Jeanty to get a lot of carries and touches. And even last game, if you go back to last game, Javonte Williams in a blowout where pretty much the Cowboys had to pass most of the game, he still had a pretty decent fantasy day, decent rushing day. So overall, Jeanty is a must start. Then the final player up on my list is going to be Bo Nix versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Of course, this is my team, you know, going against my team. You know, we obviously so far this year, if you're a Bengals fan, you know, our defense really hasn't been that great. We've gotten some interceptions, hence why we have 2 wins. But truthfully, our pass defense has not been that great. Our run defense hasn't been that great. This is a great opportunity for Bo Nix to get really going, you know, and I think this is just got to be a guy you definitely want to have in your lineups. Alrighty, on to the sits. The first player I got up is Jahmyr Gibbs versus the Cleveland Browns. And I think this is a terrible matchup for him. In a game where, you know, they're probably, you know, we saw Cleveland last week actually keep it pretty even with the Packers. You know, Cleveland's defense is just extremely tough. The pass defense is tough, but their run defense is literally number 1 in the NFL right now. And this is just going to be a terrible matchup for him, and he's just not going to be able to get going. I expect this to be a pretty low-scoring game, pretty even. And yeah, this is just going to be a tough matchup for Jahmyr Gibbs to get going. And then the second player, that kind of leads me to my second player, which is going to be David Montgomery. I actually think he's definitely a player I would consider sitting even more, mostly just because he is more of a power back, less than a speed back guy that can really, you know, get going. And yeah, it's just gotta be an even worse day for David Montgomery. And the next player I got up is Chuba Hubbard versus the New England Patriots. The Patriots so far this year rank 2nd versus the run, so they've been extremely great at stopping running backs. And you know, it just the running backs have not produced in fantasy versus them. And also, I think this is a game where New England could get off to an early lead. And New England's pass defense is not the greatest either. That's another factor. It's got to lead to less carries for Chuba Hubbard. And yeah, it's just this overall just not a very good game script for Chuba Hubbard. Alrighty, next player I got up is, Mr. I don't know, whatever you want to call him at this point, the one of the hottest players in the NFL, Paul. Not in that way, but Daniel Jones versus the Los Angeles Rams. This is a brutal matchup. The Rams have been fantastic against the pass. They rank 6th against the pass so far this year, and the Rams just so far have looked great against everyone they've played. They honestly could definitely be undefeated at this point. They look great against the Eagles, even though they lost that game. They look fantastic, and yeah, I think this is kind of a game where we kind of see the Colts finally start to kind of. Okay, they're not. I expect it to be an even game, but it's going to be a very tough game for the Colts and Daniel Jones. And then the final the final player I have up is Javonte Williams versus the Green Bay Packers. This is probably my favorite player that you have to sit this week. Javonte Williams, again, going against the Packers. This is the Packers have stopped the run just nonstop this year. This has got to be a game where the Cowboys are going to be passing pretty much the entire game to try to catch up, with the Packers. And yeah, it's just their defense is awful. The Cowboys' defense is awful, which leads to more scoring for the Pack. It's just the overall game script. There's not going to be much running attempts for Javonte Williams, and he's going to have a very bad day. Alrighty, that's going to cap it off for the video. Again, if you guys got any questions, let me know in the comment section down below. But yeah, without further ado, make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next one. Peace out.